One. Hello, and welcome to JDUB and Friends podcast, episode 37 with the one, the only ThrillhouseMax. How you doing tonight?
I'm great, buddy. How you doing?
I am doing well. Can't complain. Uh, Myself and Thrillhouse are big wrestling fans. I've been watching since the Attitude Era, and I'm pretty sure Thrill's been watching about the same time.
Maybe a little longer,
Yeah,
just a tiny bit.
just a little couple years.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's Bill the Fajita. Well, one of Thrill House's and my good friends. Um, Now we are actually going to talk about WrestleMania. We are shooting this 2 days after WrestleMania, shooting on technically 3 days if you count Saturday.
hmm
Uh, and then the day after Raw was yesterday, or the day after WrestleMania was yesterday, which was a big Raw. So we're gonna do some talking about what happened at that point. But they before they even started WrestleMania, they brought some big news, which me and Thrillhouse talked about a little bit. But WWE is now the proud owner of Lucha Libre promotion AAA.
Yes, they are.
Um,
Pretty interesting move.
yeah, I wasn't expecting it actually. Um, But I guess it's had a lot of connections to a lot of their or to their current stars. I think Penta was there at one point.
Mhm.
Fenix was also there at one point. So yeah, and then they after they announced the purchase, they also announced an NXT versus AAA Worlds Collide event.
Yep.
Which that'll be pretty cool. There's gonna be a lot of talent on NXT that is you know in a has been in a world or a forbidden door type situation before, so that's not new for them, but for new for WWE completely.
Yep.
Do you Are you excited for this Worlds Collide event?
Honestly, I think it could be pretty cool. There's a lot of good talent on both sides that would make it really worth watching, especially because I think they're focusing on NXT. So if you put a lot of those NXT guys in the ring with these AAA people, it's really solid matchups.
Hmm.
I'm hoping maybe some of the people from AAA don't make the jump. There's a couple of people that I really don't want to see, but for the most part, a lot of these luchadors are going to be super dope to see in NXT and the whole WWE as a whole.
Yeah, and I think this helps a lot of the wrestlers in NXT that have not had that, you know, wrestle or those big name wrestlers to wrestle against.
Yeah,
So we'll see how that works out. But I think it's a good idea for both. I'm starting to wonder now if WWE is going to buy TNA next, so we'll see what happens there.
I feel like it's gonna happen like maybe down the line. To be
Hmm.
honest, I wouldn't be surprised, especially with everything that they've been doing,
Yeah.
and even with like the AAA move. I wouldn't say it's like it's a shock for sure,
Hmm.
but it's like not unexpected. I guess like I feel like these are the type of moves that WWE's always been doing, especially since back in the territory days when they were taking over all these small territories and stuff.
Yeah.
The thing that is kind of surprising though is like beforehand, like a few hours before, they had somebody had sort of leaked that they were going to try to do a AAA versus NXT show, but they
Yeah.
buried the lead and they were just like they didn't even mention like oh like it's like they're acquiring it.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until they actually announced it during the WrestleMania pre-show where they're like, "Oh yeah, and we're also acquiring AAA. Like we own it now." So,
Yeah.
it's a pretty interesting move to say the least.
Definitely. Yeah, and also gives WWE a foothold now in Mexico too. So,
Yeah.
which I mean, right now, what Mexico has CMLL and AAA basically is the two big ones, and
Mhm.
but I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, they can now there might be some AAA guys showing up in NXT, might be some AAA guys that show up in WWE, on Raw or
Yeah.
SmackDown all of a sudden.
Yeah.
give us some of those matches that we want.
So some of the rumors that I've seen were that they would consider rebranding AAA as NXT Mexico, which I don't necessarily agree with. I would rather just have them keep its own branding.
Right.
And I mean, if there were ever a situation where other companies get acquired, like putting them under like the same banner is like not too bad.
Hmm.
It almost makes me wonder, like, what if WWE had some sort of, I don't know, network to put all these shows on?
Right. That'd be
You
interesting.
know, it's yeah. So I don't know. It would have been kind of interesting to see, like, maybe if
Hmm.
WWE Network was still around, like, are they going to put all these shows together? Are they not? But
Hmm.
now we have maybe like Netflix in play and Peacock, you know, because these are like the
Right.
big streaming deals. So maybe they try to get a big deal for AAA or something like that. But who knows? I mean, I feel like it would bring a lot of eyes to Lucha Libre
Hmm.
that weren't there before, and I feel like a lot of people would be actually really interested in watching. So I don't see why they wouldn't try to get a good TV deal for it. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. This actually also opens up a lot of the library for AAA too. Now that they own that, they can show, like a little bit of Fenix's matches. Now they don't have to be like, oh, he was just, wrestled for some other company. Now they could be like, oh, he wrestled for AAA, we own now, and this is some of his matches.
Yeah,
And then you'll go from there.
yeah,
Uh, I was telling Thrill that instead of doing 5 questions, which I usually do, I have a new idea.
yeah. Is this a tier list?
It
Okay,
is a tier list for the WWF Attitude Era Superstar tier list maker.
okay, okay.
Now, there's a couple in here that I didn't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. But yeah, there's about 68 people here, so not too big, not too small.
Okay.
Um, we got what, one, two, three, four, five. From all the way from "Give Me a Hell Yeah," which is basically the best of the Attitude Era,
Yep.
to "Know Your Role and Shut Your Mouth," which means
Okay. Okay.
you weren't you were there, but you weren't any good. So, or you were just annoyed. Uh, but I guess we'll start easy. Bret Hart. Where would you put Bret?
Ooh, Bret Hart. Let's see. Bret Hart he's got to be either Give Me a Hell Yeah or Legends.
Hmm.
Um, like you can't put him any lower than that. I think that would be doing the man disservice. You know.
Definitely. Yep. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would probably see. I wouldn't put him in Legends or Hell Yeah, just because I don't feel like he was as big as Rock or Stone Cold. But I mean, he's still. I think he'd be, in that little right below them.
I feel like, especially pre-Attitude Era, he's probably like way up there. But
Yeah.
once you get to Attitude Era type stuff,
Hmm.
even though he was there at the beginning, he's really not like the top guy.
Yep. Yep. So I guess we'll put him up in Legends, probably one of the top Legends. Gold Dust. Um,
Honestly, oh man,
there's like two different sections of Gold Dust in the Attitude Era.
yeah. It's like I think of Goldust highly,
Hmm.
but like, is he really as good as I think of him? Because I think of him as a legend.
Hmm.
Maybe he's not a legend, but I think of him as a legend.
Right. Yeah, I would probably say. I mean, just the status that I'd say he's probably in the around legend status at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So I'll put him up there with Brett. Uh, this one, Terry Runnels. Eh,
I would probably go meh.
yeah,
You know, maybe when I was younger, when I was like that young, I was like, oh my god, Terry. Oh
yeah,
my god, and you know why I don't even have to say it, but like looking back on it, yeah,
yep, yeah. She was all right. She wasn't the best diva of the Attitude Era.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, oh, Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Um, I mean, he's decent. He wasn't
Yeah.
really around too much. Like
Hmm.
he at least on his own. Like he was always part of like Heart Foundation stuff, and
Yep.
I don't ever really think he stuck out away from like Bret Hart. You know?
Right. Yep. He was kind of just there as the like the '80s guy that was still riding on Brett's coattails at that point.
Yeah.
Next is the Train Godfather.
Okay. Honestly, I'd have to put Godfather in decent.
Mm,
Like he's not meh,
mm,
but he never wrestled at like a legend level. He was just kind of like good for some moments,
yeah,
you know.
I would agree with
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, I at first I knew who this next one was, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, is that Shane? And I had to like look on Google Images for a second. I'm like, that is Shane McMahon. I'm like, he
Damn
was
straight,
European.
that's Shane.
I was like, he's European champion at one point. I'm like, I forgot
Yes,
about that.
indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Shane was.
Hon- Honestly, Shane was dope.
Yeah, definitely.
Shane, especially in the Attitude Era, did so much
Hmm.
shit he didn't have to do. I mean, the boss's son, and he's over
Yeah.
there throwing himself off of the stage and all that stuff. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I would probably put Shane as a legend.
Yeah, with the stuff that Shane did, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you remember from that time that he was, way amazing and all that stuff. I'd probably put him right behind Goldust though.
Yep. Yep.
The Dudley Boys. That's
Ooh.
Bubba
Okay.
Ray.
Honestly, I really like the Dudleys. Like,
Hmm.
especially in that era. Oh my god, those Dudleys
Yeah,
were so good.
I agree.
Um, I think I might have to put the Dudleys as legends.
Hmm. Would you put him behind Brett, or would you put him in front of Brett?
I put not in front of Brett.
Hmm.
Not in front of Brett.
So probably in front of Goldust though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, The Rock.
Give me a hell yeah. Like, is this even a discussion?
Yeah, no. That's I think if it wasn't for The Rock, I mean, Austin, was great in the Attitude Era, but I feel like The Rock kind of pushed Austin to be great.
Yep.
This is the first one I have no idea who it is.
That's Stephanie.
Is that Stephanie? Oh wow,
Yeah.
there's Stephanie, isn't it? Wow.
Bro.
She looks solely different. Wow. Yeah, sorry. Wow, that's sad that I didn't know that. Yep. Well,
um, where are we gonna put Stephanie though?
yeah, yeah. She was good on the mic.
Like Attitude
But
Era
she really did
Stephanie,
much.
pretty decent.
Yeah.
You know, I'd go decent.
I put her in front of Anvil because I mean I remember a lot more stuff that Stephanie did than Anvil did in the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Big Boss Man. I mean he was
Ooh.
past his prime at this point.
See, I'm biased because I liked the Big Boss Man.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't feel like a lot of other people did.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I would probably put him in meh, just because I mean a lot when you think of the Boss Man, you think of like the '80s when he was fighting, Hulk and all of the
Yeah.
big time then, and then now in the Attitude Era, the biggest thing I remember from the Big Boss Man is getting hung from the cage.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. We'll do that. Um, like I was just a fan of like the get up, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the for some reason, like him coming back in the Attitude Era with like the all black and stuff, I was like, this shit is dope. And
Yeah.
it didn't age very well. Like you look back at it now and you're like, it's kind of corny. But at the time, I was like, this is insane.
It's not as, corny as the what was the guy, the Canadian? Oh crap, the Mountie.
Oh, listen, don't get me started on the Mountie. Corny as hell, but I loved it.
Yeah. Oh man, I think this guy is the most underrated um wrestler in the
Sure.
Attitude Era. Ken
I
Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock is one of my favorites of all time.
Yep.
So I'm gonna rate him highly. Obviously, he's got to be up there in the legends tier.
Mhm. Where would you put him in Legends behind?
I mean, he's got to be like behind the Dudleys. But like, if I'm being biased, I'm like, you put him all the way up in front.
Yeah, I think honestly he could have been the next, Rock if he was stayed, because I feel like he had a lot of, well, JR said he had a lot of problems where he wouldn't show up on time or he wouldn't show up to the wrestling at all and stuff like that. That was kind of his problem.
I don't think he would have ever been like a Rock or an
Whoops.
Austin, but he could have definitely been like a new generation Bret Hart, like a Attitude Era Bret Hart, basically,
I agree with that.
where like he's like the technical guy who can do all that the cool shit like that.
Right. Oh man, Mankind, Mick Foley, Dude Love,
Oh,
Cactus Jack.
oh man, it's almost like we don't even need to discuss it, but he is definitely a legend.
Yeah, I put him in front of
Espe-
Brett.
yeah, especially in the Attitude Era, he goes in front of Bret.
Hmm. I
Like,
mean,
sorry, Bret, but
yeah, man, that's just the stuff that he did. Oh, watch,
yeah,
I mean, you remember the "This Is Your Life" that was big, and then the getting thrown off the top of the cell was big at that time. That was a little I think around a little before the Attitude Era actually officially started, but still it was crazy all the stuff he did.
yeah,
Oh man, Prince Albert or A Train.
whatever they wanted to call him.
Yeah, he had Lord. Oh, what was it? Lord Tensai.
Yeah, I remember Lord Tensai.
Yeah.
Listen, I hate to do it to you, but know your role and shut your mouth.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I feel like
Oh man,
he had his
I feel
moments.
bad, but I'm like, eh. Yeah, he did have his moments, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
feel like he did better when he was with Big Show
yeah,
when he was tag team with him. But
I feel
uh,
like he did better like when he was A Train, but that's
yeah,
like post Attitude Era.
yeah. And when he had a couple great finishers when he was the A Train, but
Yeah,
you
the
know,
Derailer.
yeah, more
Yeah.
redemption. Oh, uh, Kane. Ooh, Kane with that. Yeah, Kane was amazing too.
Oh man, Kane, one of my favorites.
Yep.
It'd be hard to put him lower than Legend because like
Hmm.
that was my dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably put him about there.
Yeah, yeah. Don't love the guy behind the mask, but man, I loved that character.
Yeah. Yep. Uh, yeah, Kane, I mean, I remember that whole story of, he's alive, and you're like, who's alive? And
Yeah.
you find out it's Kane and rips the door off, everything like that. I kind of feel bad for him though, because when he won his first title, McFoley fell off the cage. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
bad timing.
Oops.
Edge is next.
Okay. Honestly,
Brood Edge.
see this. Yeah, Root Edge. Honestly, it's a little hard
Hmm.
because I think he's an all timer, but like in the Attitude Era, he really hadn't like fully realized his potential.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, man, I hate to do it, but I think he'd probably be decent.
Yeah. Yeah, I put
Yeah,
him probably ahead of Godfather just because of the tag team matches that he had with the Dudleys and Edge and Jeff and Matt.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hardy Boy, there is Jeff.
There is Jeff. Yeah, Jeff goes in legend for me because he was already doing that crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But if they had put Edge and Christian as like one, I'd be like, yeah, legend. But if you're asking me to just pick just Edge,
Hmm.
Attitude Era Edge, just decent.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Jeff was doing crazy stuff, you know, even before all that, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
just kind of shot up. Uh, who? This lady, China. Triple H said
Yeah.
that she's going to be in the Hall of Fame coming up soon. Probably not next year,
Good.
but pretty soon.
Good. She
Um,
deserves it.
oh, definitely. Uh, now I would say she has to be in. I feel like she's a legend of the Attitude Era.
Oh, for sure.
Just DX and all the stuff that she did. Probably I'd probably put her right there,
Okay.
just because of DX and just because all the stuff that she was able to do, Intercontinental title and all that stuff. But Road Warriors.
Oh man, the Road Warriors were so past their prime by the time the
Hmm.
Attitude Era came around.
Yeah,
They also weren't super present. I'd probably put them as meh.
yeah. I agree with that. I put them ahead of Big Boss Man just because they had that little bit of run with Sonny as Road Warriors 2000.
Yeah.
But oh man, Val Venus, the Big Valbowski.
Oh man, I don't really like love Val Venus.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'd be somewhere between decent and meh.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he
I think.
never really did anything crazy, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the
And
one. Oh, good.
it's very cringy to look back on Val Venus.
Yeah, yeah. I think his most famous thing was with High and Tie, where he's like, "Cut off your pee pee."
Choppy, choppy, yo, pee pee.
Yep.
So stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd probably put him right here in May.
Yeah.
I know this is a hot take, Mr. McMahon. I know with the whole situation that's going on now, but I feel like without McMahon, that character anyway, that Attitude Era would not, Stone Cold would not have been as hot big. The Rock wouldn't have been as big.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
If we're going strictly off character, then
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm. Which I would have to put him in legend, or
Yeah.
barely give me a hell yeah, just
Yeah,
based on the
he
character.
goes in legend. He goes in legend.
Yeah, I probably put him right in front of Mick just because I feel like he's that close to that art just because of what you need with Stone Cold. Oh man, APA, such a great tag team.
Yeah. Um I feel like APA goes firmly in like decent.
Hmm.
Like they honestly had potential to be like so much better and cooler, and they were really cool back then, but like I feel like most of their time was like spent in those backstage skits with like their office drinking beer and stuff. You know?
Why'd you just walk through a wall? We have a door right there.
Yeah,
Rock.
so good.
Gangrel. Ugh. I feel like he was just there to help get Edge and Christian over.
Yeah. As much as I would like to put him higher, Gangrel probably goes in meh.
Yeah. Yep. I probably put him about there. So that's kind of what he was for. Undertaker.
Legend, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the key parts of the Attitude Era, I think.
Yeah, I'll put him right behind Mick, or right behind Vince and in front of Mick, just
Yeah.
because. British Bulldog.
Ooh. Honestly, if all things were fair, he would be in Legends, but he
Hmm.
definitely goes in decent.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't. He was our past his prime at this point, too.
Yeah.
He was hitting his uh injury prone years at that point.
Yeah.
Oh man, the guy who lost his smile in the Attitude Era. HBK.
HBK.
Hmm.
Honestly, is hard.
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel like he got injured early in the Attitude Era and then didn't come back till, like, after the Attitude Era.
Hmm.
But, like, you can't really put him below legend. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know if I could justify putting him in that S tier, but he's definitely, like, a legend tier.
Yeah. Like right. Yeah, I would put him at the very bottom just because of the injuries and all that stuff. And I feel like when he came back, he was bigger than pre, and he wasn't even there for the DX when they tried to take over WCW,
Right.
which a lot of people don't remember. Billy Gunn, I believe.
Billy Gunn.
That's what it looks like
Billy
anyway.
Gunn is firmly indecent. Is that Billy Gunn?
I think it's Billy.
Okay. Yeah, I can only tell because like I'm looking at your screen, so I'm like
Yeah.
trying to squint over here. But I would put him in decent. Like
Yeah, it looks like Billy.
yeah, that's Billy.
I was like,
had,
not a great
had to
picture.
do a yeah, that's a weird picture. Had to do a
Yeah.
hard zoom on Billy.
You said you probably put him decent.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he was the. I hate to say, I feel like he was the weakest link of the DX.
which is crazy because like between him and Road Dogg, he's had like such a really solid career,
Hmm.
and Road Dogg really cannot compare at all.
Yeah, it's so weird, but yeah, it's like you remember so much more of what Road Dogg did than what Billy Gunn did.
Yeah.
But my name is Billy. It doesn't matter what your name is. S.A. Rios.
S.A. Rios, really fun to watch.
Hmm.
Um, honestly, too flashy to be just meh.
Yeah,
So I'd put him at decent, but probably like the lower end of decent.
probably before Anvil and Bulldog.
Yeah.
Yep. Ahmed Johnson, who I was never high on. I don't know. It's just me, but I just was never high on him.
So younger me really liked Ahmed, but he's probably very meh.
Yeah, I agree with
Like
that.
had potential to be so much cooler, but just never panned out.
Sorry, he's going in the back. And that's a terrible picture of him, too.
Yeah, not a great picture.
Yeah. Man. Jerry the King Lawler.
Ugh. Honestly, I've never been a huge fan of Jerry the King Lawler.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm not a reliable narrator when it comes to Jerry.
Huh. Puppies! Oh, that did not age well, but it was funny at that time.
Not at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably put him just because of the calls he made. I'd probably put him legend. Just because, like,
Okay.
he had the little bit pre before he became an announcer, and then with the announcing, he announced the Undertaker Mick match, and then he had a few other matches that were big that I would put him in.
Yep.
One of the ones that left us way too early, Test.
Yeah. Honestly, Test is like firmly decent.
Yeah, I
Like
agree with that.
had really good potential to be a legend, and then
Hmm.
for one reason or the other, they just kind of stopped pushing him the way that they should have. Like they had him very prominently featured in a lot of stuff, and then just kind of like gave up on it after a while. I don't know.
Yeah, he just kind of died all of a sudden. It was like TNA. Was TNA. I remember that. Trish
Hmm.
and Albert and him, I think.
Yeah.
Hardcore Holly.
Oh man. Uh, I think he's like meh to decent
Yeah, yeah, I
because like
remember. Good.
when it came to like the Holly Cousins stuff, he was probably like like the weakest part of it. I
Hmm.
mean, still a good part of it, but like definitely the weakest part.
Yeah, I think he's mostly known for the Attitude Era, is just beating everybody up and tough enough.
Yeah.
That was about it. Oh man, the guy who likes to talk about dead dads, Christian.
Um, Honestly, we're gonna have to put Christian right next to Edge.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now,
I
again, if we're putting them together, like if there was one picture for both of them, I'd
mhm.
put it up in legend status. But
Oh
if they're asking us to split them up, then we got to put them a little lower.
yeah, Christian, I feel like should have had a better career than Edge did, but he just didn't. His mic
Yeah,
skills weren't there yet.
Christian is definitely one of my favorites, especially like post Attitude Era, like Ruthless Aggression, like
Yep,
like singles Christian when he was like Captain Charisma and all that.
hmm
Like definitely one of my favorites.
yep. Look into the crowd. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sable.
That's not Sable.
Is that not Sable?
That's Deborah.
I thought.
I don't know how to feel about Deborah
hmm
because she didn't really do too much aside from being a manager.
Yeah,
I'd probably put her in Know Your Role.
yeah. That's what I was thinking too. I barely
I
remembered
feel
her.
bad. I feel bad putting anybody that low on the list. I'm like, stop it.
Right. Oh man. Now Owen Hart, who should be in the WWE Hall of Fame, and I understand
Yeah,
the whole situation, what happened, all that stuff that his wife or mom or whoever didn't want the WWE to, make money off his name and image and all that stuff after he died. So I understand that. I
yeah,
feel like they definitely, with Triple H and Command, I feel like they could definitely work something out.
yeah.
But
Oh man, Owen, one of my favorites. I
mhm,
loved him so much when he was alive. Like,
yeah,
if all things were equal and fair, he would have been one of the best of all time. He
hmm
would have been hell yeah. He would, he would have been that guy. I
yeah.
think. Um, so sentimentally, I would like to put him in Legends, but I would like to hear what your opinion is.
I was thinking Legends too, just because
Mm,
I feel like he was about to hit that stride, and
yeah,
uh, and then they put him in the blue meanie, and it was like they kind of killed his push at that point.
yeah.
But I think
Oh, the Blue Blazer.
yeah, blue blazer. I don't know why it's blue meanie,
Yeah,
blue blazer. And I feel like he would have been bigger than Brett in the long run.
yeah,
So yeah, I definitely
man,
put him in legend just because of the talent he had and that what he was about to be able to do.
yeah.
But D'Lo Brown.
Oh man, D'Lo is like a high end decent
hmm
because like he never had a chance to like break that ceiling and get
Yeah,
super high up, but he was always entertaining. He always gave it like everything he had. He
yep.
was always like fun to watch.
He used to rack his head back and forth all the time as you're walking in the ring.
Yeah,
Yeah, JR. I was listening to JR's podcast that he has, and he said that he feels bad for what he did to D'Lo. He thought that'd be cool to give him, that chest protector to make it seem like his frog splash hurts more.
damn.
Uh, this is, I feel like, one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, X-Pac.
X Pac is very underrated. Unfortunately, I think he goes in decent because he never had a chance to like break out. But
hmm
one of the best, like he was a very gifted wrestler,
Yeah.
and he had a lot of opportunity. I don't
Yep.
want to say a lot of opportunity, but he had some opportunities to have like really good moments,
hmm
and they never just gave him like the keys. Like they never gave him like the next step up.
Yeah. And he was and somehow he ended up in both NWO and DX, which is
Yeah.
insane. Oh man, I already know where I'm putting these guys, but I'm kind of curious. The Mean Street Posse.
Oof.
I'm not
It's a big
including
meh
Shane.
for me.
Yeah,
It's a big meh for me.
yeah, I was gonna
Like
put them either
decent
right.
enough guys, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Without Shane, they've been like know your role and shut your mouth. OC
Yeah.
was like, man, Paul Bearer, one of the greatest managers of all time.
Oh yeah. Love it. You already know what to do with that one.
Yeah, he going to legend.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I'll put him back here just because I mean it's insane the amount of talent that he managed. The Undertaker, Kane, Mankind for a little bit,
Yeah.
just insane. Vader, big Van Vader.
Oh, excuse me. I love Vader,
Hmm.
but like he wasn't super present during the Attitude Era. Like
Yeah.
his prime was definitely before that. So
Hmm.
I'd have to put him pretty low on this scale.
Probably meh
Yeah.
at that point. Yeah, I,
Yeah.
yeah, he might. Yeah, I'll put him just before him. Chris Jericho, Y2J.
Easily a legend, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Like even from his debut.
hmm yeah. When you get to debut in front of, or with The Rock, come on now,
Yeah.
get the countdown. Oh man, Road Dogg.
Road Dogg is fairly decent.
Mm. Yeah, I put him ahead of Billy, obviously,
Yeah.
but yeah, he was great. Lita.
Lita, man. She's she's got to be up there as a legend too. Like she was paving the way for a lot of these girls that were out there.
Hmm.
Like she was doing a lot of stuff that girls weren't really doing back then. So
Right.
she's got to be in the legends.
Yeah, definitely. She was great. She still is.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another one that, was hot take. Chris Benoit. Hell of a wrestler in the ring. Everything that happened after the fact, not great. But
Yeah,
technically is great.
we're gonna have to go decent.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
Attitude Era, he didn't really shine. He was just kind of like there,
Right. Yeah.
you know.
Yep. Yeah.
Very good, good wrestler who could give you everything you wanted out of him, but it was just mostly there.
Yeah. Yeah. He came along with the Radicals and then he kind of dropped off for a little bit. And it wasn't until he started getting bigger and more fit that's when you noticed him more.
Yeah,
Oh man, another one we lost way too early. Brian Pillman, Flying
yeah.
Brian.
See, I think this one really isn't fair
Hmm.
because he died like basically right before Attitude Era. Like,
Hmm.
if I were to Google right now, like the Attitude Era time span, let's see what it says.
Yeah.
Era time span. Yeah, so I mean, Attitude Era time span says November 9th, 1997
Hmm.
as a start date. And then if I look at Brian Pillman, when did Brian Pillman die?
I
Uh,
96.
October 97. So like
Hmm.
he died like right before it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, but I feel like had he not passed, he would
Hmm.
have been like a very big part
Hmm.
of the Attitude Era, like especially with like the Austin storyline and stuff like that. I feel like he could have been a really good part.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
but where do we put him? Is
Right.
the question? You know,
Yeah.
because of his influence alone, he might have to go like at least decent or lower end legend because there were so many people that took from him.
Hmm.
Like he was doing a lot of shit and he was just being crazy, like the loose cannon man.
Yeah.
And he had a good part of the Heart Foundation for a little bit, and all that sort of stuff. So, I I feel like where you put him just now, I saw where you dropped him. I feel like that's
Yeah.
a good spot for him.
Yeah. I'm a fan of his sons. I know Thrilly's not really a fan of his sons, but I think his son is definitely starting to hit his stride where he's starting to figure out some stuff. So
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes. Jacqueline. Thanks, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline was great.
Hmm.
Not a legend, but definitely, I think she definitely goes in that decent tier.
Yeah. 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 This is another one I don't remember.
Tori.
Is that Tori?
Yeah.
That looks.
Not
Uh,
not Wilson, obviously, but that's
oh yeah, I forgot about the other one.
I'd probably have to put her in meh because like her involvement in DX was pretty good, but
Yeah.
aside from that, she didn't do much.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about her. Oh
Yeah.
man. Big Show.
Ooh.
People call him Big Slow.
Well, it's the big slow. Um, honestly, in the Attitude Era, he probably goes in decent. Like, he had good staying power, and he stuck around for a long time.
Yeah.
But like, I just can't justify putting him as a legend, especially with all the other people who are in that legend tier right now. You know,
Right. And I feel like he didn't really. WWE used him terribly too. They should just kind of used him more as Andre the Giant type thing, and they kind of
excuse me.
used him all the time instead.
Yeah, I feel like he hit his stride like after Attitude Era.
Yeah. Oh man, what does everybody want?
Al Snow. All right. Honestly, Al Snow for the Attitude Era, I think he goes in decent.
Yeah.
Um, he was a better wrestler than like they gave him credit for, but
Hmm.
he was mostly there for comedy stuff.
He was huge in ECW,
Yeah,
but after that it was kind of eh.
yeah.
But Dean Malenko.
Dean Malenko definitely goes in decent. I feel like his ring skills were good enough to be a legend, but they definitely kept him kind of grounded
Yeah.
when he was in the WWF.
Dean Malenko had the Lance Storm problem where he had all the in-ring talent in the world, just had no like
Just
character.
just not super interesting.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
nothing there. Ah, Viscera.
I think he goes meh.
Yeah,
It wasn't really much more than a henchman.
yep. Yeah, the only
Yeah.
reason that they Undertaker said in his podcast, the only reason that they added him to the Ministry of Darkness was so they had to wrestle him, which is so good. Latino Heat.
Oh man.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Um, I love Eddie.
Yep.
He wasn't really a legend in the Attitude Era.
Mm-mm.
He was more than decent.
Yeah.
He's like somewhere in between legend and decent because that dude was like he was so good. He was always good, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I miss that dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it was ruthless aggression,
Oh,
he's S tier.
yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. Eddie was insane. The type of stuff. I mean, and it's crazy. I know that Dom is actually Ray's son, but it's just insane how much Dom looks like Eddie.
yeah.
It's weird. Linda McMahon.
Meh.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about it. I'm just like meh.
Yeah, Linda was cool, but she didn't. She
Yeah,
was there for like three things, and that was about it. Like WrestleMania, what 2000 or whatever, with the fatal four way.
yeah.
Oh man, Kurt Angle.
Oh man, I love Kurt Angle.
Yep.
Oh, he's got to be a legend.
Yeah, I would say high
Like he has
legend.
to be. Yeah, that dude is so good.
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
naturally good at everything. Like
Hmm.
could wrestle really good. Could be funny, could be serious. Like he did everything.
Jimmy Corn, I don't care. Jimmy Corn. Still remember that little dumb guitar he had.
Yeah.
Oh man, sexual chocolate, Mark Henry.
Oh man, what a guy.
Yeah, terrible
Um,
choice though
too
for his.
good, too good to be meh. So he's got to go decent, in my opinion.
Mhm. I'll put him. We'll put him. I'll put him up there.
Okay, okay, okay.
Brian Pillman's good, but I feel like Mark Henry was had a lot more than some of them. Triple H.
Triple H has got to go in legend. I don't think he's going to go S tier in this era, but he's definitely a legend.
Yeah, I would agree. Matt Hardy.
So unlike his brother, because we put Jeff in what legend.
Legend, yeah.
I feel like Matt's got to go decent. He didn't pierce society the way that Jeff did,
Hmm.
where everybody loves Jeff, but people are like, Matt Hardy's okay. Like,
Yeah. Matt had the big explosion with the broken Matt Hardy, and that was like, past his prime career.
yeah, Jeff's always been the better Hardy.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like Matt maybe could wrestle better than Jeff, but like
Yeah.
Jeff just has like that all around, like he has like that aura that
Yeah.
Matt doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Matt. I like version 1, point oh of Matt.
Yeah, the one.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But
Yeah.
oh man, the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman.
Ooh, Steve's really good.
Hmm.
Um, but he's probably going to go indecent
Yeah.
because like he was always good, but he never did anything that would have made events at a pay per view. You
Yeah.
know?
Right. He was there. He
Yeah,
was like the poor man's Ken Shamrock.
yeah. As weird as
Oh
that is, yeah. The
man,
Briscoes,
the Stooges,
the
Bris-
Stooges.
Briscoe and oh, what's the guy's name? Pedersen.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm probably gonna put him in meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perry Saturn.
Perry was decent.
Hmm.
I think Perry's decent.
Yeah.
Like it sucks that they gave him like the moppy gimmick and stuff, but he could have been a lot better than that.
Ironically, I think this is one of the few pictures where he's not wearing a dress.
Right.
uh, Crash Holly. Rest in peace.
Uh, I love Crash Holly.
Hmm.
I'm a little biased.
Yeah.
I want to call Crash Holly a legend, but he's probably not.
I,
He-
yeah, I probably put him decent. That's just me though.
yeah,
Just because I feel
but
like he limited it. He was limited when he was in the hardcore.
but that 24/7 gimmick with him was like one of my favorite things. I loved
Hmm.
it so much.
Put him here.
Crash Holly, R.I.P.
Yeah. Very. I know where I had to put JR just because, but where would you put JR?
Oh, JR's a legend. Of, of course.
See, I would give him a hell
Not a,
yeah.
you would give him a hell yeah.
Yeah, just
You know
I
what?
mean,
Maybe for Attitude Era, he's a hell yeah. Like he's still a legend in other eras, but like I
yeah.
think for Attitude Era, like you got to put him up there because his calls
Hmm.
like basically shape
Yeah.
make the framework of a lot of these calls. Like he was the voice of all of the big moments of the
Hmm.
Attitude Era.
And I mean, I remember, distinctly watching him do the whole spiel with Mankind, where he's explaining,
Yeah,
his past and everything. Give him the Mandible Claw, and then Triple H always being pissed off at Triple H and The Rock, and
yeah,
yeah, he's definitely my give me a hell yeah stage.
yeah.
Oh, good grief! The team with the worst sirens in wrestling history. RTC, Right to Censor.
Honestly, younger me probably would have put him in meh. But
Yeah.
like in a retrospect perspective, they pretty decent.
Yeah.
Like maybe a little bit ahead of their time.
Hmm. Yeah. She was incredible.
Ivory,
And yeah,
yeah,
and she kind of got stuck. I mean, Bull Buchanan was pretty good. I mean, The
yeah.
Godfather was in that team.
I love Bull Buchanan. I love Steven Richards. So I like pretty good fan, pretty big
Yeah.
fan. You know,
Yep. Oh man, Rikishi.
Bull Buchanan's son is an NXT. If you did
Oh yeah.
not know, yeah,
Yep. Yep. I forgot about that. Yeah.
yeah, Brooks Jensen, baby.
They have a lot of talent in NXT. I still think they could definitely do like a another Four Horsemen with like the kids, like of
Yeah,
famous wrestlers, and have Arn be the manager of the kid.
trust. I've seen your ideas. I know. Oh
uh,
man,
Rikishi.
Ricky Ishii. I feel like he had legend moments,
Hmm.
but I don't think that he is like legend tier, you know?
Yeah, he's like decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one that I a lot of his stuff I think with came later on too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Too cool.
Too cool, also going decent, I think. Like a
Yeah,
lot of fun moments, but they were never like the top tag team or anything like that.
right. R.I.P. Brian Christopher.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know for the longest time that Brian Christopher was Jerry Lawler's son.
Yeah.
It just blew me away when I heard that. Trish.
Legend.
Yeah. No way she's not.
Yeah.
Trish was probably I probably the best diva in the Attitude Era, in my opinion.
I feel like for a lot of people who were preteens in the Attitude Era, she
Hmm.
is their awakening.
Yeah.
Which not trying to objectify her or anything, but like,
Right.
ooh man, one of my first like celeb crushes.
Yep. Yeah. I think there was a video that somebody said they had her as a on their bedroom wall as a kid. And she goes, "Yeah, a lot of men did." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." The Fink, Howard Finkel.
Oh man, where would we be without the Fink?
Yep.
Man, what a guy!
Yeah,
Miss that.
definitely.
Yeah,
At that point, though, I'd probably put him in Legend.
yeah, yeah. Right
Barely
there's
though.
good.
Oh man, Tie and Tie.
Oh, Kai and Tai. Kai and
Funaki.
Tai gotta be pretty decent though, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I feel like these two were the only two that did anything. I
Yeah,
mean, you had what Dick to Go was the other one.
yeah. TikTok,
Uh,
Dick to go.
oh shoot.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I probably put him in meh or decent.
Yeah,
Right at the bottom meh.
yeah,
Obviously Stone Cold goes, no, your role, shut your mouth. You ain't do
yeah.
nothing at all. But no, yeah, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, the greatest of all time in the Attitude Era, obviously.
Yeah,
Without
there's a
Stone
reason
Cold,
they named that tier. Give me a hell yeah.
yeah,
You know?
yep,
Oh
yeah,
man.
just insane amount of stuff that those two did by themselves, and then with him and like Undertaker matches, and him and Brett match in 13, and just all the stuff
Yeah,
that he was able to do, and
yeah,
broke his neck, and still wrestled for another few years after that.
yeah.
But it's insane.
Absolutely the guy.
So, speaking of breaking necks, WWE WrestleMania this weekend.
Yeah.
I actually have everything on my phone. So if anybody's like, "Why is he looking at his phone?" because I have everything on my phone just so I forget nothing. Uh, Now WrestleMania 41, which seems like there should be a lot more WrestleManias than that. I don't know why. It just feels like there should be. But yeah, there was a lot of great matches on WrestleMania 41. There was also some bad matches at uh WrestleMania 41.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's see. Uh, Personally, I think that first night had more of the better matches, but second night had, the women's match, which I thought was really great. Um,
So I thought that the main event of
mhm,
night one was better than the main event of night two, but I thought that
Definitely.
night two was better overall.
Yeah. Yeah, Cody Rhodes, John Cena. I mean, it started great. Like it was starting
Yeah.
really good. It was everything like that. And then once I feel like it was good, and all of a sudden Travis Scott came out and then it just dropped off.
Yeah, the ending wasn't really super great. Like I wasn't surprised by the outcome.
Mm.
Maybe a little surprised that Travis Scott showed up, but I wasn't surprised that Cena won, you know?
Yeah, I was kind of like, I did. The one thing I did like about that was that John Cena had a new Titantron, which was basically just his name
It's no
slapped out.
graphics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of cool, and they changed his character up a little bit, but it was like, you
Yeah.
know, I still feel like they didn't need Travis Scott, or if they used Travis Scott, they should have just brought him out from underneath the ring
Yeah.
and then stole the belt that way.
Yeah, and
Give it to
honestly, I
Cena.
feel like if Travis Scott was going to be involved, he should have been more involved with the storyline
Hmm.
ahead of time. Like he was basically only there for that one moment at the beginning and then that one moment at the end.
Yeah,
And I don't know, it just felt so almost so random for him to be there.
yeah. The whole storyline's been weird. I mean, it's been great with Cena and Rhodes, like those two going
Yeah,
back and forth on the mic. Been great. Great promos back and forth. But then you're like, why was The Rock necessary? Why was, Travis Scott necessary at that point? Like,
yeah.
it just don't make sense at that point. But
It almost
Cody,
felt weird that Rock wasn't involved in
hmm
the pay per view match because it's like he was involved at the beginning and then he just never showed up after that. So it's like if he's not going to be there, why is Travis Scott going to be there? You know,
yeah,
it just felt a little weird.
exactly. Yeah, the next or the match right before that was a weird situation that happened because all of a sudden Bailey's off WrestleMania,
Yeah.
which I wonder if there was some backstage shenanigans or something that happened.
I don't know, man. I really feel like Becky Lynch being the one to show
Hmm.
up kind of made it obvious that maybe Becky would turn on Lyra, and I didn't realize how quickly that was going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
spoiler for anybody who hasn't watched last night's Raw, but
Hmm.
you know, I was like, oh, if she's here, that means like something's going to go down.
Hmm.
But I do feel bad for Bailey because Bailey works hard, and I feel like out of the four horsewomen, Bailey is like the one that's the most underrated because like Becky's
Definitely.
obviously very good, you
Yeah.
know, but you know it's an interesting situation.
Yeah. Bailey, I think she had the heel run was great for Bailey. And then
Mhm.
the turning face, I think, kind of hurt her a little bit. I mean, they needed to turn her face for a little bit, but I mean, I think she was face for too long. I think they should have gone back heel at some point, but I don't know. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was a decent match. I would say it wasn't the best match, obviously, of the night. I mean,
yeah.
the big thing was Becky Lynch's return, so that kind of gave a big pop for it. But um, yeah, the match before that on or night two was Logan Paul and AJ Styles, which I enjoyed that match.
So I don't like Logan Paul.
Hmm.
I don't think he's a good person.
Right.
I
Yeah.
have a lot of opinions about Logan Paul. As a wrestler, yes, he's very good,
Hmm.
but he's one of those cases where like it is hard to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
And I that is something I try to do. That's something I'm very big on is like separating the art from the artist, especially when it comes to like music or whatever. But that's a
Yeah.
whole other conversation. So, I see Logan Paul wrestle and I know that like he's playing a character,
Hmm.
but it's still hard for me to like get invested in it in any way just because I know what
Right.
he's like as a person. So that said, like, yeah, he wrestled great, but like this one for me was like the match where I was just like, I'm gonna use the bathroom,
Hmm. You're.
something like that. So like, I know that maybe a lot of people might have enjoyed it, but for me, I was like, I think I can pass on this one.
This is your let me up match.
Yeah, and honestly, I almost feel more bad for Karrion Cross than anything because I did get to see his involvement in that, and
Hmm.
I saw that little promo that he had like the day after,
Yeah.
and I honestly I feel like he could have had a spot on the card and didn't get one, and maybe this will be like the fuel that he might need to get like a bigger push.
Yeah. This is his pipe bomb.
Yeah,
Which I mean, AJ Styles is insane he can still wrestle the rate he wrestles at 47 years old.
yeah,
And been doing this since 2000. When in WCW.
yeah. He can make
Just
anybody look good too, which is
definitely. Yeah.
like you could
Very.
have put him against anybody in the company, and it would have been a great match.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah. Now the big surprise that I had named five people right before this happened, but I was like, yeah, Randy Orton's coming. I was like, oh, Rusev's gonna, show up at
Yeah,
WrestleMania. It's gonna be Rusev. It's gonna be, I was like, well, I was like, first night I've been watching, I was like, oh, Fenix is, could fight Randy, and all of a sudden Fenix shows up at the end of the night. I'm like, oh, I guess it's not gonna
yeah,
be him. So
yeah,
I was like, who else would they do? And I'm like, all right, maybe one of the NXT guys, Ethan Page, or somebody's just coming
yeah.
up now. Then all of a sudden, it's like, I wonder if they still have the TNA NXT thing going on. I wonder if they bring like Joe Hendry or somebody. All of a sudden, you know, I believe in Joe Hendry. I'm like, oh snap!
Yeah, honestly, part of me was like, "Oh, maybe Nick Aldis will step
Oh
in
yeah,
and wrestle Orton himself," and that
hmm,
could have been interesting. But Joe Hendry,
yeah,
that was pretty cool.
hmm. And a lot of people are hot about that because they feel like that the WWE buried him. I'm like, no,
I don't get it. Like
yeah,
first of all, a WrestleMania match,
hmm,
WrestleMania
yeah,
with Randy Orton, a bona fide Hall of Famer,
hmm,
wearing the TNA World Title. The TNA World Title got on WrestleMania.
yeah.
Like that is a big moment. Win, lose or draw, that is big.
Yep. Yep. And I think was it I think they said it's the first time that a non WWE title has been on WrestleMania.
That's crazy.
Because I mean even WCW title, yeah, but at that point WWE owned them, so at that point it's a
Yeah.
WWE title.
But even
But
like during the Attitude Era, where like the NWA would show up once in a while, it
yeah.
never got on WrestleMania.
Nope.
Never did anything crazy like that.
Yeah, no. And I mean, obviously they had one of the greatest shots I think I've seen in wrestling where all of a sudden Joe Henry turns around and faces the camera and they zoom in on him. Yep, gets a
Yeah,
RKO out of nowhere and just
I
perfect.
I loved it. That was so fun.
Yep, I mean, and Randy was having so much fun. Apparently Randy wanted Joe Henry, which is
Oh,
kind of
that's
cool.
cool. I
Yeah.
like that.
That was his choice, and but yeah, I mean, he allowed Hendry get some offense in, make him look a lot better, and you know, but
Yeah.
I did I don't know if a lot of people recognize this, but Randy's shorts. or a reference back to his.
Yes, I noticed that. I loved it.
Yeah.
I really liked. For some reason, I just really liked OG Randy Orton.
Hmm.
So as soon as I saw the way his tights looked, I was like, "Oh, I know that look. Like
Yep.
I've seen that before."
I was like, oh,
Yeah, it was cool.
yeah. I was like pre-evolution, like the little yellow. I was like, that's kind of cool. And
Yeah,
then all of a sudden, everything like that. Uh,
yeah.
Now this probably was the match of the night, the Fatal Four Way for the Intercontinental title.
Oh my god, what a fun
Hmm.
match! I was just really happy for Dominic. Like
Yeah.
I love Dominic. I love to boo him.
Hmm.
Like I will boo him all night.
Yeah.
But I do love the dude, and I think that it is so deserved for him
Hmm.
to win this title. You
Yeah.
know, um, I feel like, and I'm going out on a little bit of a limb here. He had the mask on, right?
Hmm.
He had the Rey Mysterio Senior mask on,
Yep.
and the entire time Pat McAfee's talking about like dude wipes or something, and I'm just like, dude, like this is a big moment here, and you're just
This.
talking about whatever the fuck. Like, come on,
Yeah.
man. As much as like people can get behind Pat, and I don't mind Pat, I like Pat.
No.
There are moments where I'm just like, dude, like get it together, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
And
shocked they put on Dominic though.
you know, I'm not shocked.
Hmm.
It actually went like the exact way that I predicted it.
Hmm.
Because I was like, oh, he's gonna pin Finn
Hmm.
to win the title, and that's gonna sort of lead toward like the dissolution of the Judgment Day. So
Yeah.
we're sort of in that phase now where like maybe we'll see it because like
Hmm.
Finn is still trying to like be a part of the group or whatever. But I feel like this is gonna be like where it turns around. I feel like
Yeah.
Finn's gonna end up turning heel, and everybody's gonna end up siding with Dom.
Yeah. I feel like Finn has gotten maybe the one of the worst uh runs in the last few years because I mean it feels like he was on top of the world as the champion and then gets injured and then never really had another shot at it. And then when they gave
Yeah,
him a shot, it was like, oh, here's Brock Lesnar or so and so that's gonna destroy you in about 2 minutes.
yeah. I feel like it's gonna be very hard for him to ever get like back to the top. I don't
Yeah.
think they're ever gonna put him back in like a main event spot. But like he could really thrive in like that
Hmm.
intercontinental title scene.
Yeah.
And if he turns heel, like I'm kind of predicting he will, I
Hmm.
feel like it'll be good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already heel. I guess him turning would make Dom baby face,
Yeah.
basically. Um, I feel like if they turn on each other and that goes into a whole thing, I feel like that's going to be better for both of them because Dom's got so much heat on his own,
Hmm.
and Finn needs to I feel like just needs to separate himself
Right.
because he's been like second fiddle almost the entire time, whether it was Damien or Rhea or whatever. And then Damien and Rhea have been apart from Judgment Day for how long now? So it's
Right.
I think it's time.
Yeah, it was insane the pop that he got last night too, which was I was
Yeah,
shocked. I'm like, what? I'm like, you got a big
yeah,
old pop?
yeah.
But
I,
again,
I feel like I feel like Dom was one of those people that everybody loved to boo, and
mhm,
then once he finally got his moment, everybody's like, "Fuck yeah, Dom!" Like everybody had to just kind of be behind him because
mm,
that's just such a big moment.
right, exactly. Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. Like I didn't expect, so and so to um so and so. I didn't expect Dom and the crowd to be so behind Dom and so behind John Cena and all that stuff. Like there was a
Yeah,
very heel crowd that night.
yeah.
But
And Dom running back to the ring to get up on the turnbuckle and raise the title a little bit. That's a very babyface thing to do. So I don't know. I feel like lean into it. Let him be a babyface now. Like everybody
right.
already loves him as it is.
Yep.
So.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I hope. I mean, I hope they turn him face. But we'll see what happens with that whole situation. Because I mean, I feel like they definitely, he definitely got a big pop, and I think he's going to be pushing it at that point.
Yeah,
Also, I feel bad for Carlito. You think he'd learn?
that's not cool.
No, dude. I made a joke because everybody, if you watch wrestling for 10 years even, freaking, it's never the regular announce table that gets broken. It's always a Spanish announce table. And for
Yep,
some odd reason, this WrestleMania, it was a regular announce table that got broken, which was surprising.
yep, yeah,
But I really want the people who rebuilt that table to build me a house because that thing was up real quick.
yeah.
But yeah, it was that was pretty good. I was shocked that they didn't that Penta wasn't going over though. I feel like Penta's having a really good run right now. But
um, I feel like Penta not eating the pin
mhm,
is better than him having to eat a pin because, like, obviously they really like him.
yeah,
So him being in the match but not taking the pinfall is still pretty good for him. Like, it's not
yeah,
taking momentum away, you know?
no, man, I love that little cocky walk of his. It's so great.
Oh, he's a smooth operator, that dude.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, I'm waiting. We'll see how that's gonna go. Uh, Now another one that was really great was the McIntyre and Priest match,
Yeah,
and
that
they
was a
both
pretty solid match.
entrance for both of them was sick. Like this is one of the few entrances I was like, this is they're both cool. I mean, you have Drew McIntyre at the Doom guy, sitting out
Yeah,
front, and
Damian Priest had Slayer.
yeah, and this is like this is epic. Yeah, and they
Yeah,
yeah, McIntyre, I mean, McIntyre finally got his, legit, I would say, WrestleMania moment. Because, like, last year, he won the title, cool, for like 2 minutes. It was like, oh, that sucks.
yeah,
This year, it's like he actually got to show, why he's one of the great wrestlers in WWE right now.
yeah.
But I hope that they start pushing him, though, up top. I know this is gonna be way in advance, but I would have him be the one that puts or that not takes out John Cena in his retirement match.
Okay.
'Cause I feel
I don't really know who I'd want to take out John Cena in his retirement match, but that's not a bad idea. For me,
mhm,
I'd want it to be somebody younger. Like,
yeah,
almost like the same way with, like, the streak,
mhm,
where I feel like somebody younger, somebody who wasn't super established, should have been the one to take it.
yeah,
I feel like that. I feel like we should do that with Cena, where, like, somebody who isn't yet a star,
yeah.
but, like, would be the guy by getting this win. Like, I feel like that's what's got to happen with Cena.
So somebody like Braun,
Yeah, because you get, but I mean, Braun right now is he just turned heel.
yeah,
But if he was a babyface, I'd be like, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's got to be Braun. But then you've got because, like, the streak, they gave it to Brock, and
mhm,
at the time it happened, I was like, well, like, it works,
yeah,
but, like, you could have given it to anybody else, and they could have benefited so much.
yeah. I think the reason they gave it to Brock is it kind of felt believable at that point,
Yeah, yeah,
and then when they had him lose to Roman, that was like, then it didn't really feel as important.
yeah.
But I don't know. Oh yeah, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley started the night two off, which was another hell of a match.
So for this match, I feel like this is my match of, like, the night.
Hmm.
This might be, like, the best match of WrestleMania for me. Um, which is weird because, like, I feel like traditionally
Hmm.
the multi-person matches in WrestleMania aren't the best, but all of, like, the multi-man matches that we had for this WrestleMania, the Fatal Four Way and the two triple threats, amazing.
Yeah, they are good.
And Io needed this win
Hmm.
so much. I feel like she is a genuine star, but
Yeah.
she hasn't gotten the same level of respect that like Bianca and Rhea have gotten.
Hmm.
So for her to finally get this win at WrestleMania, I feel it's perfect for
Yeah.
her. Like well deserved.
Exactly. Yeah. The one spot that I remember that blew me away was when they're all up on the top rope and Rhea and Bianca come down on their back, and then Rhea or Io comes down on her face. Basically, it was like, oh, like ouch. And then all the stuff they do after that, and just speeds up, and all of a sudden Io just comes and knocks or does the Tower of Doom, or they did the Tower of Doom suplex, what they called it, and just
Yeah,
the way that they ended it was amazing. The over the moonsault and just insane.
yeah.
Now, do you think that before we go to night one, do you think that John Cena breaking Ric Flair's record was because Ric Flair wasn't involved with WWE anymore and hadn't been for a little bit, or you think it was kind of like it needs to happen?
No, I feel like it was like a needs to happen thing,
Hmm.
especially because John Cena has played such a huge part of everything that WWE has been
Yeah.
since he showed up. I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of Ric Flair's heyday
Hmm.
is like very non WWE,
Yeah.
like WCW, NWA, like that sort of stuff.
Right.
So if you're gonna point at a legend and be like that
Hmm.
is the guy of all time,
Hmm.
it's John Cena. It's
Yeah.
not fucking Hulk Hogan. I'm sorry. Like I know Hulkamania and all that, and
Hmm.
whatever. Like John Cena
Yeah.
for 20 straight fucking years
Hmm.
was the guy.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
like I feel like him having that record only makes sense.
Yeah. Hulk had basically two spurts. He had his, you know, where he was red and yellow when he first made the big run, first like probably first 4 or 5 WrestleManias, and then all of a sudden, everybody was getting sick and tired. And then when he turned heel, that was his second, big spurt. But other than that, I mean, John Cena's been around, forever too. So
Yeah.
it's insane the amount of stuff that he was able to do.
Yeah.
Um, but let's go to night one uh
Night one.
results, which I was,
Ooh, excuse me.
it was good. It was a good night. One thing that bugged me, and don't know if it was just me or not. I feel like the tag team titles could have been, both of them could have been on WrestleMania,
Uh-huh.
because I feel like you had DIY. You could have had another triple threat tag team match or something like that with DIY, Motor City
Yeah.
Machine Guns.
Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. And I know that they booked a TLC match for
Hmm.
this upcoming SmackDown. It doesn't really feel the same.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that could have been such a fun part of
Hmm.
WrestleMania, especially night two felt like it ended kind of early. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's a little different for me now that I'm in the Central Time Zone.
Yeah. Like,
So
oh,
sometimes things end. I'm like, oh well, we could go a little bit longer, and
yeah.
then I remember, oh yeah, East Coast, they're a little, they're an hour ahead, so they're already tired.
Yeah.
But I feel like you could have maybe tried to find a way to fit that TLC match in there.
Because of
Which 2 whole nights you could fit it somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, yeah, I think they ended at like 10:30 or 10:45 EST,
Yeah, something like that.
and they still, then they went another hour with the post show and all that stuff, and it felt, like, well, you could shorten the post show and let us have the TLC match, but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, let's we'll do the same. We'll start with the main event. Now, triple threat match. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. Now, CM Punk was back in WWE and getting a WrestleMania main event, which is kind of cool to see. And
So
go ahead.
I was surprised
Ooh.
that I predicted the exact finish
Mm-hmm.
because I had made so many jokes about it where I
Yep.
was like, "Oh, like you've got all these grown men with hot wives feuding over this 50-something-year-old fat bald man
Yep.
who's probably just going to turn on them."
Mm-hmm.
And then lo and behold, he turns on them and he
Yep.
sides with Seth Rollins, and I'm just like, "How did I
But I know.
okay."
Yeah. Yeah,
But it was
that's
a great match. It really was.
definitely. Yeah, that was one thing I was like, all right. I'm like looking at him like Roman Reigns wants him in his corner, CM Punk wants him in his corner. Seth has been saying, hey, everybody wants you're basically everybody's bitch right now. And
Yeah.
it's like, I was like, I think Paul's gonna turn both of them, and all of a sudden, boom, turns on both of them. But
So I would send stuff to Bill sometimes because
hmm
he doesn't watch regularly like I do.
yeah,
And I wanted him to be ready for Mania because I was like, "You are coming over to watch WrestleMania. Like, you're not coming over. You have to be here." And I kept trying to tell him about like how Heyman is with Punk now, and like I was telling him about it how basically like one of the spots that they did right is
yeah,
where Heyman is sitting backstage with CM Punk, and here comes Roman in his car, and he gets out, and it's almost like a moment from a '90s sitcom where the
yep,
main character sees his ex girl with a new guy. And I was like, bro, like, you gotta look at this. So
yep,
I would send him like all of those memes just to be like, you gotta stay hip to this. You gotta know what's going on.
yeah, yeah. And I was kind of curious where they were gonna go with that, and we'll get to that in Raw, why they kind of ended, did everything with that. And I was
Yeah,
like, this is gonna be good. But yeah, I feel like those three worked really well together, even though everybody's like, it's not gonna work. There's no story in this. I was like, I feel like, there's a lot of story going on between the two of them, and then Seth Rollins is just there to, you know,
yeah,
make sure that they're not paying attention to him, and he's gonna win the match.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of curious what they're gonna do with Roman Reigns, CM Punk going forward. I am kind of curious. I know this is a hot take because of what everything that's gone on with him too. But this is the third time that Paul Heyman's kind of churned on one of his, people he's managed with Brock,
Yeah.
Reigns, and now, Punk. It's like, is Brock gonna come
Hmm.
back and they'll have a triple threat match?
No,
But I don't
no,
think
I
that's gonna
don't think
happen.
so.
No, but that'd be insane to have Roman, CM Punk, and Brock against well, now we know it's Seth and Braun so far. We'll find out if there's gonna be a third, which
Yeah,
but it's saying it could be the next Evolution 2.0 if they decide to go with that route. But
maybe, but
yeah, I don't know. If they do add a third, I probably add Austin Theory just because of he's had a rough little run and he needs that rub from Paul or Seth. But guess we'll
I
see.
feel like if there's going to be another member,
hmm
my pick would probably be Trick Willie
Yep,
or Carmelo Hayes.
yep, those two would be good too.
Yeah,
Yeah, Trick had his top moment, and then all of a sudden he kind of just dropped off too. It was like weird,
yeah,
but I don't know. But NXT's kind of exploded in talent now with all the guys they're getting from AEW and all the talent that's popping in. But I guess we'll find out. Now the match before that, which I was thinking, oh no, Charlotte's going to totally decide that she wants to win the title because this is WrestleMania week and this is Charlotte's title to win and everything like that. I'm like they're gonna screw Tiffany Stratton, and then
yeah.
they didn't. And I went, what? Wait, hold up.
I so in the course of my predictions, I did pick Tiffany to win, so I was
hmm
very happy that she won. I feel like there was a few moments where Charlotte was definitely kind of like trying to
Hmm.
sandbag her a little bit,
Yep.
which is a very Charlotte thing to do.
Oh,
But
definitely.
I'm glad Tiffany took home that victory.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
definitely worked for it.
Definitely. Yeah. I like Tiffany. I think she needs to. I think she's holding that title till Jade comes up because I think Jade's
Yeah,
gonna take it from her. But
that'd
I
be a
don't know.
fun match.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, so El Grande Americano was supposed to fight Rey Mysterio this WrestleMania, which sadly Rey got hurt. Apparently, don't know how severe it is. Haven't heard anything yet.
I
And
think the injury is a torn groin, if I remember
mm,
correctly.
okay, that's rough.
Yeah,
But I mean, Ray can come back from that. He's still getting there. I think next year will be his last Mania though.
yeah.
But uh,
Um, I I'm not super a fan of the El Grande Americano thing. I feel like the vignettes they did were like a little bit racist.
mhm,
I don't hate it in general because like Chad Gable is dope.
mhm,
I like Chad Gable, and I feel like he should be doing more stuff. So glad for him for getting a singles match on WrestleMania, even though
right,
he may or may not be El Grande Americano.
right,
He says he's not,
mhm,
but I feel like this storyline probably blows over at Worlds Collide,
yeah, I would
and I feel like maybe they'll do an unmasking thing.
mask
Like they'll
versus
probably,
mask.
yeah, yeah. So that could be interesting.
Mhm,
Maybe by then Ray's ready to wrestle again or something.
right, yeah, Ray Phoenix. I don't know how I felt about him losing his WrestleMania debut.
Honestly, I like him, but
Hmm.
he kind of like just debuted, so I'm not
Yeah.
like I don't hate it,
Hmm.
but it would have been nice if he won.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I mean, I guess that El Grande Americano is supposed to be this big push for Chad Gable.
Yeah,
If it's actually him, we might have to do a lie detector test like they did with Mr. America.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, they gotta keep.
yeah,
I think Ray's gonna be a big one. The only other thing I could think of is that they're gonna put Penta and Phoenix together in the future at some point with the draft and everything like that, and have the Lucha Brothers go wrestle for the tag titles and stuff like that. But we'll see.
yeah.
Uh,
I wouldn't hate it, but I love Penta, so I'd love to
yeah.
see him get a good, solid singles push.
Yep. Definitely. I'd give him
Yeah,
the Intercontinental title after in a few weeks,
yeah,
but we'll
yeah.
see. Jacob Fatu and LA Knight wrestled for the United States Championship.
Yes,
And
they did.
Jacob Fatu is now the new United States champion.
I'm a
I,
big fan of that,
mhm,
honestly. I've been saying since Fatu debuted that he should be getting a big push and he should
yeah,
be like highly featured.
definitely.
Um, it's very cool,
Hmm.
I think. And I feel like this WrestleMania in general, like as a whole, is
Yeah.
sort of a good end to like the bloodline feud.
Hmm.
Like Roman did his job.
Yep.
And like now Jay's champion and
Hmm.
Jacob's champion. And I feel like, even though Roman isn't the top dog anymore, he's not the main champion. Like
Yeah.
his family, like he's elevated his family. Like the bloodline won, basically. Like
Hmm.
you know, it was very good to see.
Yeah.
And Jacob had that cool mask too, like a little corny, but I still thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That werewolf mask. Um, these two guys,
Hmm.
Jacob Fatu and LA Knight, I feel like they're going to be like a big focal point of SmackDown.
Yeah.
I think LA Knight is maybe past the point where I don't think he's going to be like the world champion or like the main guy, but
Hmm.
like he's always been super popular and he's going to, I think, still going to continue to be popular.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
for Jacob Fatu to win this title, I feel like is pretty big.
Yep.
And I hope he has like a good reign with the title.
I think they should have pulled the trigger on LA Knight getting the title, world title. Like he had, I mean, he was getting pops like that rivaled Austin for a little bit there, where he was, coming out and you couldn't even.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like they missed their
Hmm.
opportunity to like cash in on him, and
Yeah.
now it's sort of like already like they missed the peak, so he's already
Yeah.
kind of like on the other end.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he
yeah,
was insane.
yeah,
But I mean, the bad thing for him was at that point, Roman Reigns had both titles, and they
yeah,
couldn't really
yeah,
split it. And but I mean, LA Knight's been around forever. I mean, he wrestled in TNA and Eli
yeah,
Drake and
yeah,
wrestled in WWE a little bit before that. But
yeah,
I, I would be okay with the LA Knight, Intercontinental run too, if he
yeah,
gets to that point.
yeah.
But I guess we'll see. Now, Jade Cargill and Naomi. I was Jade, man. She's doing. You could definitely tell the difference now, like from when she first came in, and I think nothing against AEW. I just feel like they pushed her way too fast, way too hard when she
Yeah.
wasn't completely ready yet.
Dude, Jade is something else, man. She's amazing.
Yeah,
And honestly, I don't know how she's not like the world champion already.
yeah,
She is. She's great in the ring. She
hmm,
looks amazing.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
everything she does is like solid. Like
Yeah,
I give it a 10 out of 10. And she has I don't know how old she is, but she has potential to like really be like the star of a generation.
definitely.
Okay, I just googled it while I was talking. She's 32. So like
Oh,
she still has like a lot of time
yeah,
that she could really occupy being like the face of a generation.
yeah,
So I feel like they should really capitalize on it. This win is big. Having two black female wrestlers on a big stage, a
yep,
grudge match, a non-title match
hmm,
at WrestleMania is big. Like it's super cool
definitely.
for both of them. I feel like for Jade and for Naomi, but like Jade needs this, and I
Hmm.
feel like WWE needs Jade
Yeah.
because if they need a new star for the women's division, and they do, they're going to go with Jade.
Yeah, Jade feels like this generation's China. Like
Yeah,
she's powerful, she's talented, she has all the, talents to get over, and she just got to get, that push now.
yeah.
But I definitely could see her being a or a champion. I think the only thing she probably would need to work on a little bit is her mic skills, but that's about it.
Even then, she's not bad. She just
No.
hasn't had like a lot of reps. Like they
Yep.
don't give her a lot of her stuff is like pre-recorded. They don't give her
Yeah.
too many like live promo opportunities.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. She doesn't have that run with the promos that she could have.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
um,
she could be the guy. I think.
yeah, definitely. Definitely could
Yeah,
be. Especially, I mean, she has talent. I
yeah.
mean, if you can't see it, you're blind.
Right. Excuse me.
Yeah. Now this match, I love the New Day. Don't get me wrong. Great tag team. Loved Austin Creed, even back when he was like Consequences Creed and TNA with Ron the Truth Killings.
Yeah.
But I don't like the New Day going over.
So I think I do like the New Day going over, but I feel like the match was very predictable.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like they didn't do much to push the War Raiders as like a
Yeah,
threat. And so this match was like, as soon as we knew that New Day was facing the War Raiders, I feel like we knew it was like a foregone conclusion,
right.
which makes me wish that maybe we had the other tag team titles defended as well.
Hmm.
Because if that's the tag title match we were gonna get, I don't want to call it a boring match, but like everybody knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the
Where like, no, go ahead.
I just feel like the War Raiders just got started with the titles.
Yeah, and I feel like they're more interesting now than they've been before,
Hmm.
but at the same time their reign was like a big nothing of a reign.
Hmm.
Like they didn't do much with it.
Yeah, they wrestled
Like
like a couple teams.
yeah, and I can't remember even like where they won it
Hmm.
or like who they defended against. It's just
Right.
like like, oh man, somehow they became tag champions.
Yeah.
And I only know because I'm literally googling it as I talk that they beat the Judgment Day for it. But like, had I not like googled it, I there was no way I would have remembered
Yeah.
that they beat Finn Balor and JD McDonough to win the title. Like, it's that like unmemorable.
Yeah, about the same back then. I think the War Raiders beat the Judgment Day, who beat the Motor City Machine Guns before that. And the Motor City Machine Guns really
Uh,
didn't get a push that was that great at that point either.
let's see, Judgment Day. They beat Awesome Truth, which is another
Oh, that's
thing.
right. Yep.
Like that was fun, but I also don't think they did a lot with that tag run either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe they're trying to get the tag titles to mean something on that side.
It would be nice. I just
Yeah.
really want to see them like do more with that stuff.
But I mean, I would love to see a New Day Motor City Machine Guns tag match. That'd be cool.
That, that could be fun.
But, I mean, the Motor City Machine Guns could still go. I mean, they're my favorite tag team of all time, which, a lot of people are like, what? I mean, I've watched them in TNA, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, obviously from
Yeah.
Detroit. But, I mean, they're
Yeah.
just talented. And, Shelley and Sabin both had their own single run in TNA, which were both really good. And they're both great on the mic. And
Yeah. Yeah.
see, though. And I was actually shocked that the World Heavyweight Championship match started WrestleMania.
You know, it wouldn't be the first time that the Royal Rumble winner went on first,
Hmm.
but I was a little bit surprised about this one.
Yeah.
I'm almost kind of glad it did because I
Hmm.
feel like the most important matches of WrestleMania are usually the first match and the last match. So
Yeah.
the first, excuse me,
Hmm.
excuse me, the first one usually sets the pace,
Yeah.
and I feel like this match did like a great job of setting up the pace for the rest of the night. And obviously, it's great to see Jey Uso win.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us were waiting for it.
Hmm.
I like Gunther, and I
Yeah.
really would like to see him be champion again, but I feel like this was Jay's moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel sorry. I feel like if he didn't win, all the build up that they did for him would have just been like, eh. Like
Yeah.
I feel like everybody would have hated it.
Yeah.
Maybe not
This.
the IWC because they've been a little weird about it, but whatever, you know.
Yeah. And I think that they would. That this actually fixed his WrestleMania match last year against his brother
Yeah. Well,
too.
yeah.
So, but yeah, did you like Gunther having to tap out to Jay?
So I don't hate it.
Hmm.
It's kind of like in character for Gunther to be a little averse to submissions.
Hmm.
Nobody's really tried to make him tap out, but the last person that did was Ilya Dragunov, and Gunther tapped out so quick. Like he just didn't want to be in a submission. Like he just tapped out
Yeah.
almost as soon as Ilya got him. And maybe not everybody was going to notice that the same way to the same extent that I did, but I was like,
Hmm.
that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't hate it, and I definitely didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I kind of expected to see Jay get like a big splash or something like
Hmm.
that as the finish, but it's definitely a pretty interesting finish.
What do you think if they would have done like a WrestleMania 13 where it's kind of, Brett had Austin the sharpshooter and Austin just passed out, kind of do that with Jay and Gunther?
That could have been interesting too, but I feel like it would have been a little out of character for maybe both of them.
Hmm.
Um, honestly, just the fact that Jay is the champion is
Yeah. Insane.
strange enough in itself, but it's like insane, but in a good way.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
And obviously they show, the Hall of Fame inductees and all that stuff this year.
yeah,
So I will say, if you didn't watch the Hall of Fame, the coolest thing this year, and I know everybody's like Triple H going in and everything like that. The coolest thing to me, I think, this year was watching Lex Luger get up out of that wheelchair and walk to the podium, just because
yeah.
of
That must have
everything
been
that,
must have been pretty nice.
yeah,
I have to
just
be honest, I did skip it, so
oh
I
yeah,
I saw a lot of the moments from social media and stuff. So I did see him getting up and standing, and I
yeah,
thought that was pretty cool.
yeah. With all the stuff that's happened to him in his past, with how bad his injuries been and all that stuff, and just watching him
Yeah.
walk up there with DDP helping him out, and it's just kind of cool, full circle.
Honestly, speaking of DDP,
Mhm.
I know they have the Warrior Award and all that stuff,
Yeah,
but I feel like renaming it in favor of DDP
definitely.
is doing that award such a better service.
Hmm.
Because I think a lot of us know what Ultimate Warrior was like as a person. So if you
Yeah,
really want to name an award after like being a good person or being a good whatever, DDP is like the person that you should be naming that award after. Because that
definitely.
dude is a saint. He's changed so many people's lives.
Yep. Yeah. If you haven't watched any of the stuff, like watch YouTube, like Butterbean for instance. Butterbean could barely. He was like at a 45-degree angle walking all the time, and all of a sudden,
Yep.
now he's
Jake the
almost
Snake
vertical. Yep.
and
Luger, and there's a few other ones that just helped out a
I,
lot.
I mean, hell, Butterbean wrestled at WrestleMania weekend. One of the weirder matches that
Yeah.
I'd seen ever happen. Because he wrestled at I forget which show it was. It was there's always the a collective at WrestleMania weekend every year.
Yep.
So he wrestled Minoru Suzuki,
Yeah.
and Dan Severn was the guest referee. Like it was very surreal, but like it's just crazy that after all the stuff Butterbean's been through to like get back in a ring at all in any capacity.
Yeah.
So, but
It's
I mean,
impressive.
it wouldn't be possible without people like DDP because he was barely like mobile for a long time.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah. I I definitely think that I understand, having DDP induct Lex because of, what's going on with them. But it's been kind of cool also to see like Sting be able to induct them in the Hall of Fame because I mean Sting and Lex had all those wrestling matches against each other for years and but
yeah,
I don't know, but there was a lot of the Hall of Fame was pretty great. It was maybe one of the most talented classes that ever go in the Hall of Fame this year.
yeah,
I mean, obviously Triple H is on top, but yeah,
yeah,
last night was the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, which is usually the biggest Raw of the year.
yeah,
Um, and John Cena obviously kicked off the show because he won the title the night before, and
yep,
we found out pretty quickly who his next challenger is going to be, which
yeah.
I popped pretty loud for it.
I'm gonna speak on this for a moment.
Go ahead.
from a place of saltiness and
Hmm.
bitterness because I live in St. Louis now,
Hmm.
and now that I know that this is going to be the matchup for Backlash,
Hmm.
and I can't be in I can't be at Backlash because I won't be in St. Louis that weekend. I'm just like fuck. Like, what excuse do I have to like get out of this and go to Backlash?
Yeah.
And I know I'm gonna have to miss it, like being there live, but it's a
Hmm.
pretty cool match. Like, just go make, like revisiting a classic. So
Yeah.
that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Randy's the only other person I was seeing to beat Flair's record at that point. I mean, I know Orton only has 14, but I mean, still, I feel like Randy would have been a good choice to two to have 17.
Yeah,
But it was, I mean, Randy came. John was talking about the crowd, everything like that. He told the Cena told the fans to take a picture of the last real champion of WWE,
yep.
and Randy just Viper like just sneaks out from underneath the ring, sneaks behind him.
He
Best
was
thing,
smooth with it too. He
oh, it
got in
was
there quick.
very smooth, unlike
Yeah,
Tama Low. No. But yeah, the way he all of a sudden Cena turns around, you hear shit on the microphone, which is great, and the
yeah,
RKO just hits, and that's just how they end it. It's perfect, just great.
yeah,
Um, yeah, then uh after that was the tag team title match again with
yeah,
Lyra and Becky Lynch versus Liv and Raquel.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that was a thing.
So I did not expect uh, Becky and Lyra to lose the titles so quick,
Hmm.
but there was a point like halfway through the match where I was like, "Oh, like they are going to lose,
Yeah.
and this turn is going to happen now." But
Hmm.
like I said earlier during the podcast, I kind of knew that there was going to be like as soon as I saw that they were involved with each other, I was like, there's going to be a turn involved.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was going to happen the next day, you know. So
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty interesting, and Becky's probably going to be the next Intercontinental Champion, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, who knows? It'll be an interesting feud, and
Definitely.
maybe Becky will put her over.
Hmm.
But it was a very quick turn. I did not see 1 day later as a turn.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, it was kind of I was like, huh. They're gonna have Becky running by, she'll be good. She'll be running, you know, tag team
Yeah,
champion for a while, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay.
yeah,
I think the biggest surprise happened in the next segment. You had the New Day appear,
yep,
and they told people to get on their knees and respect them for getting their gold back on their hands, everything like that. And then another tag team compares to them. All of a sudden, the Alpha Academy comes out, which Otis and Kira had beaten the New Day, so they deserved a
yep,
shot. And then all of a sudden, the lights go out,
yep. And then,
and then we get Rusev on the Titantron.
oh my
Um,
god, one of my
and
favorite moments of the night.
it's just so great. And all of a sudden, I mean, big pop for Rusev when he came back too, and came down and
Yeah,
destroyed the Alpha Academy.
yeah. I
But
feel like anybody who knows me knows how much I love Rusev.
mhm,
So I was freaking out when he showed up. And I've heard the rumors that he
mhm,
was going to come back or whatever, but when it comes to like dirt sheets and stuff,
yeah,
I tend to be like, I'll believe it when I see it.
yep,
I'm not really like a dirt sheets type of guy.
yeah, no,
But when he showed up, I was like, ah, like my neighbors on the other side of the wall, they probably thought I was fucking weird or something. They're like, what is that guy doing over there? I
yeah.
was going nuts.
I, j- I just hope they keep him like the way they're doing it now instead of Rusev Day. I don't think they should go back to Rusev Day. I think they should let him be kind of more the Miro type of character that he was in AEW, where he's
Yeah,
unstoppable and
I hope they stay with that sort of gimmick, and I feel like the fans will still sort of like chant for Rusev Day because that's how they
yeah.
know him or whatever, which I wouldn't hate, but like as long as it's not like his gimmick
Hmm.
specifically, I'm okay with it. I
Yeah.
want to see Rusev do good things, and I always have. So it would
Yeah.
be nice to see him get like a pretty good push out of it.
Yeah. Rusev's a beast. I was reading the next little section. I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Rusev's insane. He's been a beast for years and just never
Yeah,
got the love. Um,
yeah,
and then right after that, Io Sky appeared and was talking about her win at WrestleMania. You know, she was got a big pop from the crowd. Round of applause,
yeah. That
and
was
said she's over the moon. Except for she didn't really sound like that, but yeah.
yeah,
But then somebody else makes their appearance to congratulate Sky.
yeah. Who was that?
And Stephanie Vicaire from NXT,
Yeah,
who's the current women's NXT champion, who just
yep,
debuted on NXT maybe 2 months ago at the most right now. It's not been
yeah.
long, but she's a beast too. I mean, she definitely is going to be a good run if they give her a run for the title.
For sure.
But
So that was a really solid match.
mhm,
It's a shame that it ended the way that it did,
yeah,
but you can get plenty of pay per view matches out of it. PLE matches, excuse me.
yeah,
You can get plenty of like prime matches out of that,
hmm,
and both of those women are amazing.
yeah, definitely.
I'm going to sound like a very thirsty man, but Stephanie Vaquer is the type of woman you fight wars over.
Yep.
But it was also nice to see her do that devil's kiss move without Booker T grunting in my ear.
Oh, you don't like that?
Oh my God, Booker, stop!
Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah. I'm kind of curious what they're gonna. I mean, Vaquer could definitely. I mean, there's so many people that she could wrestle against. And you have.
yeah,
I mean, obviously she wrestled against EO, and she could still wrestle against Rhea. I mean, Charlotte. You have Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill. I mean, Becky Lynch. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. This might be the most powerful women's division in any wrestling company ever.
yeah. I'm looking forward to see what happens next because it wasn't just those two that was involved. Because
Yeah.
you had Roxanne Perez who
Hmm.
interfered in the finish, and then Julia showed up.
Yeah.
And then who was it? Rhea that showed up after that. I feel like this women's division has got more potential than any other women's division. And I feel like
Yep.
you're hinting at the same thing. Where
Yeah.
like this is like the women's division.
Yep. And oh, what's the name of the group? They also were in the crowd sitting there on this oh my goodness. What were their my goodness, I can't think of the name of them. It's gonna bug me now.
Oh, are you talking about Gigi and
Yep. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Toxic Attraction.
No, that's not the new name.
No, that
That's
was the original name that with Mandy Rose.
yeah. It's like something X.
Yeah.
I
Which
feel like they just come up with random names for stuff now, but yeah,
Yeah, Mandy Rose, I feel like got the short end of the stick, and that kind of sucked. Because I mean, she was a great
yeah,
NXT champion too, but
yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that was insane.
The
Just
two
all,
of them with Shotzi as a team that's been pretty good. I was
yeah,
trying to Google it while I was talking. It is Chemical X. That's their
that's what
name.
it was. Yep, yep. I just remember Toxic Attraction because I was like, that was the three of them. That's yeah.
Yeah,
But Yeah, I think the NXT women also are really great. I mean, the talent they got down there in NXT is great. I mean, we'll see what happens
Yeah,
though. I
yeah,
think the bad thing for NXT the last couple of years was when all of a sudden everybody's getting called up. Like it really happens to men hard when they started pulling Adam Cole. They pulled up Samoa Joe. They pulled up,
yeah,
Shinsuke, Bobby Roode back to back to back to back, and they had nobody to take over those spots at that
yeah,
point, and they had to rebuild the whole roster again. And they gotta, if they do it with the NXT women, they gotta do it slowly. You can't just bring, each person up back to back to back to back because you're not gonna have that talented
yeah,
of a women's division at that point in NXT.
yeah. I feel like when they called up Aleister Black, they called up like him and Ricochet
Yeah,
and Gargano and Tommaso, like all at the same time, and it was like, what do we do now? Like, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Who's gonna take, who's gonna be here and there and all that stuff? But
Yeah, I think they even tried to make Aleister Black and Ricochet like a tag team for a little bit, and it's like, what are we doing?
yeah.
Yeah,
And right after that, after the match, what they had, Jey Uso came out as World Heavyweight Champion for the first time, and
yeah,
Jimmy and Sammy both came out from
yeah,
Bloodline Past. Sammy definitely should get a run as the champion too. That's what I would do, and
yeah,
I think it'd be great story. Sammy heel, Jay against Jay. Have Sammy go over Jay, just but let Jay get the win back eventually. But I would just have Sammy go over Jay and be like, "Oh, you're my buddy, you're my pal," and everything like that, and all of a sudden turn on him.
you know, I prefer Sammy as a babyface,
Hmm.
but he was really good as a heel.
Yeah,
Part of me was kind of hoping to see who was going to be the next challenger,
yeah,
and they didn't really do like a turn angle or anything
hmm,
like that, which I feel like would have been a little bit too much. Like we
right,
already had a turn, we already had like two surprise debuts at that
yeah,
point. Um, so I don't know what I was expecting out of it, but it felt like that segment was just missing
a
like a
little bit,
little something,
yeah,
and went out a little bit long. And maybe it was more for the live crowd than for the TV crowd because like the
yeah,
live crowd always loves Jay.
yeah,
But I was kind of hoping that at the very least, maybe somebody would try to come out and be like, "Oh, I want to challenge you for the title at Backlash" or something like that. And we didn't
yeah,
get that.
hmm,
But you know,
yep. And yeah, I just feel like they feel like they're setting up more for the other title than they are for Jay's right now. But we'll
yeah,
see how that goes.
I
And
don't.
then oh, good.
I don't think I'd be super surprised if Sammy eventually turned on him.
Hmm.
I just kind of hope maybe Sammy doesn't have to. Like I could
Yeah,
see him challenging as like, oh, like I'm your friend. I really feel like we should,
yeah,
like babyface versus babyface, like whatever.
right.
But I don't know. I think we will see.
Yeah,
I
eventually, I
feel like
think that'll be next.
we might get that turn.
I would be okay with it. I think Sammy would
Yeah,
be a good. I think Sammy could do a good heel run, especially like I mean, even Daniel Bryan had that great heel run right before he left WWE, where he was the natural champion, where he wanted everything, had
yeah, that,
championship and everything.
yeah. That was a good run.
Yeah. Um, and then after his blow up at WrestleMania that night, on the Pat McAfee, I guess little show, little thing he had,
Yeah,
Karrion Cross and AJ Styles come face to face, and Cross was confronting Styles about his loss to Logan Paul at WrestleMania,
yep,
and that
yep,
Cross said that Style ruined his chances, and then Cross told AJ to do something about it.
yeah.
And Cross said, maybe I will. So we'll see where that goes,
I'm
that storyline.
I'm hoping this is like a big opportunity for a Cross.
Hmm.
I have always been like hit or miss on Cross. because like I used to like him a lot pre WWE and stuff, and I feel
Nice.
like they didn't do enough with him in WWE. So eventually, I was just kind of like, eh.
Yeah,
But like lately, with the stuff he's been doing, I'm like, Cross is pretty great. Like they should kind of capitalize on this, and I'm feeling that way these days. I'm like, you got to do something with this because he's obviously showing you what he's got. You got
yeah,
to use it.
definitely. Yeah, I hope that they do something with Carrion. He was good in NXT. I like the bald look. I mean, I get the hair, growing the hair out now and everything like that kind of makes you different. But
Yeah,
I mean, we'll see what happens. I hope. I mean, AJ and Karrion Cross will be a great match no matter what anyway, because I mean they're both very talented individuals and definitely
yeah.
work well together. Now the surprise of the night, I think, was with Gunther. I
Oh, and
didn't expect
yeah,
this. So a lot of people remember. We'll just throw us back there. WCW Nitro, way back in the day, there was this group that came to WCW called the Outsiders. So it was Scott Hall, Kevin Nash,
yeah,
and before them, nobody touched any of the, announcers. Nobody touched any of the, commentators, something like that. Well, Eric Bischoff gets power by Kevin Nash, and on Raw, kind of remind me a lot of that. Gunther all of a sudden attacks Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. Puts Michael um, or puts McAfee into a sleeper hold
yeah,
after putting Cole in kind of in a sleeper hold, but McAfee was in the sleeper hold, kind of going purple and was like insane. Hadn't seen this before, and just kind of shows you there's another side Gunther that is a little bit more scary and deadly than what we thought.
yeah.
But how did you feel about this segment?
So it kind of reminded me of a few years ago. I think it was Brock lost at WrestleMania, and then like the night after, he crashed out and like beat up all the announce crew at ringside and all that sort of stuff. Like it reminded me of that.
Yeah,
And then they wrote off Brock with like a kayfabe suspension or whatever, so that he could come back and wrestle right before SummerSlam or whatever. Whatever. It
yeah,
kind of reminded me of that. I don't know what they're building toward with this.
yeah. That's the only thing.
Maybe they're gonna sacrifice Pat McAfee with a match and just be
Hmm.
like, "Oh, Pat wants to fight Gunther,"
Yeah,
and Gunther murders him. Like I don't know. I don't know where they're going with it, but like I feel like it gave Gunther some of his heat back.
yeah, definitely.
So yeah,
Yeah, and I mean he looked like a beast at that point.
yeah,
But yeah, I like it. It's something different. We haven't seen it in, like you said, years, and just kind of
yeah,
feels, actually legit. Like I remember watching a couple years ago now where AEW tried to do the whole story with, Tony Khan getting power or tombstoned and having his
yeah,
neck. It was like, I guess, but it just didn't feel as legit, you know,
yeah, yeah,
as like something like this where it's like, huh. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, the Intercontinental Championship was actually up for grabs.
yep,
Which they had Dominic versus Penta, which
yeah.
I was okay. I was like, all right, this is cool. And then it was like, is Dominic a heel? Dominic a face? He's kind of wrestling like a heel.
I feel like they're trying to decide whether he's a heel or a face.
Yeah,
But the fact that they even booked the match made me think that Dom was going to lose the title already. I
yeah,
was like, fuck, this is it.
yeah,
And then JD coming back to interfere on his behalf.
yeah,
I was like, oh, okay, like this is where we're going.
yeah,
But it brings me back to what I was saying before. I think that we're gonna get like a Judgment Day split of like everybody siding with Dom against Finn, because the way that Finn looked when he saw JD show up, he looked like he was so confused. Like, what is this dude doing here?
Yep.
And but if Dom already knows that JD's got his back and Finn doesn't, that kind of
Hmm.
tells you like everybody's on the same page except Finn.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Makes you
I
wonder.
feel like that's going to be the next move.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I honestly am surprised that Judgment Days lasts as long as it has. Like it
Yeah,
started with Edge, way and Edge's version was kind of. I understand what
yeah.
they were trying to do, but it just didn't work with Edge.
Easy to forget that Edge was like the original version of
Yeah,
Judgment Day. Yeah,
yeah. Uh, and right before or after that, Seth Rollins makes his entrance with Paul Heyman for the first time.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, and
I thought this was interesting.
yeah, I like what they did. Rollins was said a few words, and then CM Punk came in, merged, and the two basically fought.
Yeah,
Rollins got put down. Punk turned around, grabbed Heyman.
yeah,
Uh, However, Rollins got CM Punk off of Heyman, and then delivered a curb stop to Punk. And then yeah, he was saying that there's gonna be a new reigning, defending, undisputed top star in this industry. Heyman said about Seth freaking Rollins, which they brought the freaking back, which for a while, a little bit, they didn't have the freaking. Now they have the freaking back again, so I guess he's freaking again. Um,
I guess so.
yeah. After that, Reigns came in and started to try to get to Paul,
Yeah,
and then a surprise popped up. Uh,
yeah,
Reigns was going to hit a spear on Rollins, or
yeah,
hit a spear on Rollins, and then land a Superman punch on Heyman, and he's about to spear Heyman until somebody in a gray sweatshirt shows up, and
yeah,
you're like thinking, is it one of the ex Bloodline guys, Tamatolo, so Zakoa, somebody like that? Nope,
nope,
freaking Braun Breaker
yeah,
out of nowhere. Spears the ever loving shit out of Roman.
yeah.
And
A
then,
pretty surprising heel turn,
yeah,
but I feel like it's gonna work.
oh, definitely,
I, you know, like Braun is great.
yeah,
Maybe they'll have something like amazing on their hands with Braun as a heel.
yeah,
Maybe they can make him a main event heel. Who knows?
yeah. I feel like nothing, like Reigns hits an alright spear, but I feel like Braun is the closest spear that we've ever had to like Goldberg. Where Goldberg used to make them,
He's got a really good spear. Yeah,
yeah, like Goldberg used to break people in half, and that's kind of like what Braun does.
yeah,
But I feel like that we got so much WWE has so much to do, going forward now
yeah,
that it's just insane amount of story that they have, from the triple, for Braun and Seth now, and I mean,
yeah,
Penta you think's gonna get another shot, and especially with all the Judgment Day and screwing him. I think what's gonna happen with whole Judgment Day thing is now I think Dom is gonna lose the title to Penta, but I think it's gonna be because of Finn, and I think that's what's gonna start the whole storyline between the two of them. But that's just what I would do.
mm.
I don't know. But now what? I guess for the 3 days, what would you give WWE like out of all 3 days together?
If I was gonna grade all 3 days together, I'd probably give it a B.
Hmm.
There was some stuff that maybe I don't think anything fell flat 100%,
Mm-hmm.
but there was definitely some things they could have done or could not have done, like the TLC match that they booked for SmackDown.
Yeah.
Definitely could have been a part of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the other tag title match could have either not happened or just been booked a little better. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So nothing's ever perfect, but I thought that this WrestleMania weekend was pretty good.
Yeah.
They
Definitely.
did a solid job.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah. Well. I guess what Backlash is next, I believe.
Yeah,
Which I always love that name for the pay per view. It's such a great pay per view. I don't care. It's
yeah.
not PLE. It's pay per view. But yeah, well, that's gonna be the next big one, and then we'll be getting come back around and be pretty quick. It'll be WrestleMania again.
Yeah, yeah. Next thing you know.
Yep, Royal Rumble WrestleMania. But I do want to thank you for coming on the podcast tonight and talking a little about wrestling. And definitely in the future, I'm gonna try and do a Royal Rumble reaction with a bunch of people. So definitely a Thrill
Yeah.
House back for that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Now, where can people find you? Shout
So
yourself out.
on basically all of my social media, my Twitch, my Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, all that, I am ThrillhouseMax. I'm trying to make a little bit of a comeback on YouTube, so if you feel like checking out some of my stuff, we're going to be starting a new wrestling series on YouTube soon. So ThrillhouseMax on that as well. Uh, we'll see how long it takes me to actually cook up these videos, but I'm trying. We're
Yeah,
gonna make something happen this year.
that'd be good. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, YouTube's the way to go in the future anymore because it feels like Twitch is kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit.
yeah.
But thank you all for watching this episode, and we will see you guys in the next one. Now, to